Welcome to the Datsun RS200 episode. So this has happened. Ta-da! Now you might wonder what the hell is going on here, because I've never seen one of these before. But I was thinking, what am I going to do when I finish the Datsun? And I know I'm a long way off the Datsun being finished. We're about to get the chassis onto its wheels today, hopefully. So I was thinking, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I thought, what would I do after I've finished the Datsun? And I looked on the internet and thought, RS200, because I was looking at kit cars. And obviously it's the car that everybody's wanted a piece of one of these. So I thought, yeah, that'd be cool. Thought now else of it, and then about a week later I was flipping through Facebook Marketplace and one popped up and it was 10 miles away from us, so in kit form. So I just thought, what are the chances of that? So yeah, went and got it, and so this is what's happening next. But I thought I'd just sit this here to get a visual of what this thing would look like, what the Datsun would look like with an RS200 back end on it. And it's, I mean, obviously I know it doesn't fit, but it's creates quite a cool profile, doesn't it? So yeah, today we're getting, hopefully there's been a lot of work since we've done a video last time. I've got Cubes with us today filming, so that I can get hands on. We need to, all the brackets for the subframes have been fitted and welded to the chassis now, and we're ready to flip that over. There's a little bit of welding to finish off. Flip that over, bolt the subframes on, and potentially we'll have it on the ramp so we can lift it up and put the wheels on, and then we can start making the mounts for the strut tops. So yeah, big day today, so looking forward to getting it on its wheels. So we need to bend some pipe for the roll cage and for the suspension mountings and the next bits that we're doing on the car, welding the chassis, building the frames to support all the bodywork and everything. I bought this Clark pipe bender in the hope that it was going to bend some pipe, and here's the result. So that's on the smaller pipe. We've got a nice kink in that. This was with a different pipe bender that we used, but it crushed the outside edge of it. So we were hoping that this wouldn't do that, but this produces kinks instead. And we tried it on the 50mm as well and got the same results. I mean, that bend there isn't exactly massive and it's already crumpled up on the inside. So yeah, that'll be going back, it's crap. So this is the stage that we're at with the chassis. We've got if you come and have a look at these cubes, these are the mountings for the front subframe and the front suspension mountings. So the subframe bolts into these are threaded, and obviously those have been welded in, and then these solid bar that goes, you can see there, right the way through out the other side. It'll be welded on there as well. It's been welded around here so far. So those mount these, and there's two there as well. Those sit like that. Subframe goes across there. Obviously this is upside down, and then you've got your suspension mounts going into here, and the rest on the subframe. So this is the front of the truck, but upside down. So these are finished now. The back end was done a little while ago, I think, the last video. So today we're getting this off the bench and onto the floor, well, onto the ramp, and then put the subframes underneath it, lower it down, bolt them up, lift the whole thing up, put the wheels on, and then we can let it sit back down and we can start positioning for the strut top mounts, which is where we're going to need the pipe bender for. And yeah, so we need a solution for that. We'll work it out. If anybody's got any advice on bending pipes without kinks, please drop some info in the comments. Thank you very much, because that hasn't went well at all. So at the back, we've now got these cups are welded. Jonathan's just done those now, as I got reminded when I put my hand on it and realised it was quite warm. And so that's where the rear subframe goes, so everything's there. We'll still have a brace to make. These will be coming out eventually. These are just temporary, and there'll be a brace to make to go across in between, about halfway. I think we're going to have well, we need to mount the prop shaft bearings as well, so yeah, that's happening once it's over and onto its wheels. But yeah, we're getting there.
Done it.
Well, that doesn't look like it's crushed.
Not as much as it was.
No,
it wants to go a bit further.
obviously that's crushed, but
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, does it? Sacrificial. Once it's the right shape, it'll stay that shape as well. You need to take a look at them.
So what we're trying to do here is explain, this pipe bender's got a flat wheel on it. So last time we tried it, it flattened the outside edge of the tube. By putting a bit of shaped aluminium in there, it stopped it doing that. If we had a proper form, like a bar that would follow it round like that, but that's also got the radius of the pipe on the inside, it'll stop marking the pipe and we'll get a nicer bend. So like, can we not like convert this to use that ram then? Once we've got that.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Because this is a bit of a pain in the ass. You look like a flipping monkey swinging about on that, you know.
Yeah, I know. See, you know the ratchet style I showed you?
Yeah.
If we can sort of convert it to do something like that, maybe instead of it being upright,
Have it laid on its side
laid down
and just use that ram to, so its full width needs to be 25 and then that'll take out to the very edge, or does it need to be a little bit bigger? No, yeah, it needs, if you want it to sit down into that.
Yeah, it needs to be, when that's in there,
It sits right in it, doesn't
push
it?
that forward into there. It wants to sit down into it. But that, whatever that is, I mean, you'd probably get 25 minutes.
Yeah. Right, well, we're a bit closer anyway, aren't we? Okay, so is that all the welding done on the chassis underneath? Loads of cars to move, and then we're going to put it onto that ramp over there. So, my concern here is, let's come round here. These are to line up with these here, and there's 4 of them. That's what locates the rear subframe. As we've been welding, the heat causes expansion and contraction, and the frame twists slightly. We're just talking like a degree, a millimetre here, a millimetre there, but it does move. And obviously these holes are pretty accurate, so I'm hoping that when we've been doing the welding, the holes are still in line, because we did find that when we were doing the measurements for the subframe at the front, there's a difference of about 2 millimetres at the front, which isn't a lot and it's within tolerances, but when it comes to these bolting up directly and accurately, not 100% certain, so that's the next bit, to see if these fit. Oh, it's nearly there now. So it does fit. She's tight, but once we've got the rest of the suspension work done, we essentially need to take all this to bits again. The rear subframes will all be painted, all the control arms and everything, and the chassis to be painted. So anyway, we'll prise that back off to then get it ready for painting. Obviously, you've seen the back of the RS200. That's not what's happening. The Datsun back is still going on the back of the Datsun, and the RS200 back end is for this full kit that I've bought. So essentially, this is to reskin an MR2 Roadster. Obviously, I need to find an MR2, and that'll be to strip down and build this next. So, but these are a kit that's actually made locally at, I think, Wigton. So I had no idea that they were made near here, but I wasn't really planning on, you know, jumping on a project like that, but it came up, so I thought about it briefly, and next thing, it's there. So yeah, so there's all the parts, the doors for the MR2. This is like a skin that goes over the door, and we've got to cut the bottom of the MR2 door off to make those skins fit, but it's essentially like a repaneling of the MR2 to make it look like an RS200. So I think it'll work quite well, because it'd be nice inside the MR2, whereas it doesn't seem all that nice in an RS200, you know. It's, yeah, a bit more modern, a bit more comfortable, I think a little bit bigger as well. We've got measurements obviously, but now we can see where the strut top needs to be. I mean, looking at that, like, we can get where we're coming from there to there. It's all in the design. Get this one bolted in, and we can put the wheels on it, and it's going to look like that. But once we get all the suspension top mountings on, it'll all be sitting square. But this is huge progress. This is like, you know, this is a big moment because it's just been, well, first of all, it was pulling stuff to bits, and it was just an endless sea of pulling stuff to bits. Then it was an endless sea of welding, and I stopped filming stuff because it was just getting boring. It was just like welding, cutting, welding. So I haven't filmed much recently, but this is now, it's starting to go back together, and you know, the next stage would be get the main braces put in, and then we can put the engine in, work out where the prop shaft's going and everything, then the main brace, then after that it's the mounts for the cab, and we can put the cab on, and all of a sudden it's going to look like a truck again. And then after that it's the all the running the pipes and the cables for fuel and electric and whatnot, and kind of on the home run. But once all that's done and the wiring's done, fuel, then we'll be able to start it. And once it starts and drives, it's all to come to bits again and paint. It just seems a lot closer now than it ever has been, because it is. There's still lots to do. There's still bits of welding to do here now that, like, the chassis is the other way up. Jonathan can see in there to weld those bits, but it'll be easier with it all on this on the ramp now anyway, to be able to get it at different heights and stuff. So there's quite a lot of the 25mm pipe will be used to make framework out this way for the rest of the, like, the back of the back of the back. It looks cool finishing there, it looks cool, all stumpy. Stay there. So yeah, it seems like a long way forwards to then end up going backwards, but there's no point painting all these bits before the chassis is ready to paint, and the chassis won't be ready to paint until all these suspension mounts are done. So we need all this together to be able to set up the suspension top mounts, and the chassis will have clips welded to it for putting in the pipes for the brake pipes, for the fuel pipes. So there'll be all that sort of stuff to weld to the chassis as well, so we can't paint the chassis until that's done. It's just one of those things, everything needs trial fit, make sure it works. Any alterations, hopefully there shouldn't be any. Well, other than, like I said, we've got the cab mounts to put on and all this other stuff, so it's not alterations, it's just any additions to the chassis. There's no point having paint on it yet, so. And then when it does all come back to bits, I'm just going to get everything sandblasted. So I'll get the chassis blasted, because there's a little bit of rust appearing on that now as well, just with it sitting about. So I'll get all the parts blasted that can be blast cleaned, and then that's them ready for painting. So that'll be the chassis, all the subframes, the arms, and the body of the truck. So the whole truck will get blasted as well, and get that into primer. Get rid of any filler and rust and whatnot out of it by blasting it. So, and then we've got a clean base to then start painting stuff and then put it back together. So, this is the first time I've sat in my new truck. It's absolutely killing because I'm sat on a really square bit of bar. But that's about as far as we're going to get today. I've got to go and get some bolts for bolting up the front subframes. But this is where I hope to get to today. Just sat on its wheels and ready for the next stage. So I'm going to go and get some bolts, and we can get that bolted up, and we'll see you next time. Do the button thing, like, subscribe, especially if you want to keep up with the RS200 build, because that's going to be happening as soon as possible. I didn't mean to like take on 2 projects, and I don't think I'm going to do 2 at the same time. Once this is onto its wheels and the body's on and all that sort of stuff's done, we can maybe look at getting an MR2 and starting pulling that to bits, sort of overlap the 2 projects a little bit. But for now, like, subscribe, thanks for watching, hope you're enjoying it. I'm getting excited about it now, so very soon we shall have a Datsun 620, or the Datsun 620 drift truck build. Thanks for watching, bye bye.